When I was starting my coaching business, I had the privilege of interviewing some Christian career moms who wanted to start their own businesses. And one of the things that was consistent through the conversation was the number one fear that was stopping these women from starting the business God had placed in their heart. And that fear is the fear of being a public failure. I don't know what it is about failing in front of people that scares us to the core, but I saw all these women, different conversations, but the same fear showing up all across the board. And I see many Christian career moms who start businesses with excitement, but a lot of them just quietly give up, quietly quit, keep working their 9 to 5. And it's not because they don't love God or they don't have a good idea, but I have found out that most times it's because three things are missing. And those are the three things I'm going to talk about in today's episode. We're going to look at the 3 reasons why Christian career moms fail in business and how to avoid them. We're going to explore practical steps to thrive in your business so that you can keep going without letting the fear of failure stop you. So if you've been wondering why it is so hard, why the fear of failure feels so scary, today's conversation will set you free. If you're excited like I am, tune out the traffic and road noise and let's get started. Welcome to Start That Business podcast, where I help Christian moms working a corporate job launch their first coaching and consulting business from scratch without quitting their jobs yet. If that sounds like you, you are in the right place. My name is Chichi Ukomadu. I am a Jesus follower, a service-based entrepreneur for 13 years, a wife, a mom of 3, and a Christian business coach. I knew I was called to start a business, but I struggled with lack of clarity, self-doubt, and the fear of being a public failure. My lack of courage kept me stuck until I traded it for faith and obedience to God's calling. You don't have to stay stuck in fear, doubt, or lack of clarity. God has already equipped you to launch the business He has placed in your heart. It's time to partner with God and start your business. Your expertise is needed, your calling is real, and I'm here to help you make it a reality. Welcome to October and happy new month. If you're shocked like me and you're wondering where the year went, well, that makes the two of us. I cannot believe that we're in the last quarter of 2025. Where did this year go to? Well, if you're like me and you started the year by writing your goals down or creating a vision board and starting a business was on your vision board or your goals for this year, I want to let you know that it's not too late to start that coaching and consulting business. If you're unclear on what you need to do to start, I invite you to take the first step to get clarity. Go to fromjobtobusiness.com and book your clarity session. During the call, we'll answer questions that will help you uncover the challenges you're facing in starting the business, the problems those challenges are creating, how they're affecting you, and what your next action step should be to start that business. Like I said, by the end of the call, you will have clarity and you'll be able to decide if taking the next step is the next best thing for you to do. So don't stay stuck. Don't sit on those goals. Do the next best thing, which is to schedule a call. Go to From Job to Business and let's get that going. In 2016, I was admitted to the Iron Yard Coding Bootcamp. It's a school where you can learn how to be a front-end developer or a back-end developer, and you're able to create apps. You're able to use computer programs to do so many amazing things. So when I started that intensive bootcamp, I think it was a 16-week program. And I noticed that before school started, we had like pre-work we needed to do. before the first day of class. And I was looking at the pre-work, and the pre-work was to read a book called Mindset. This is a book by Dr. Carol Dweck, and you had to finish reading that book before the first day of class. And there were a whole bunch of tasks that we needed to do before class started. But reading this book called Mindset, oh my world. It was like someone was telling me about my life. You remember the story about the woman at the well, the one that met Jesus, and Jesus told her everything about her life. Jesus told her how she had been married to multiple men, and the man she was living with was not even her husband. And she was like, who is this guy who is telling me all about my life? That's exactly what this book, Mindset, did for me. This book told me why I was thinking the way I was thinking and the results it was creating in my life as a result of the way I was thinking. When I was done with that book, I was like, oh my world. And that leads me to the first reason why Christian career moms fail in business: lack of the right mindset. That's right. When I read the book Mindset, it focused on two mindsets that a lot of people have. So most human beings will fall into the two categories of the type of mindset we have. And guess where I fell? Yeah, you guessed it. I was on the wrong side of the mindset bucket. And that mindset is called a fixed mindset. So the fixed mindset is usually a mindset that cultivates the fear of failure, the scarcity thinking. Everything is fixed in that mindset. So you believe it's either I have it or I don't have it. You believe it's either I fail or there's nothing else I can do. So that mindset is fixed on a certain outcome. That mindset does not explore other options. It's like that mindset is locked into this negative thinking pattern and you're stuck. And that's where a lot of the fear of failure comes from. Having a fixed mindset, thinking, okay, it's either I fail at this thing or I do not. An example of Christian career mom who has a fixed mindset is one who quits after a failed launch because she sees it as proof that she's not cut out for business. That is exactly what the fixed mindset will do to you. It locks you in this negative pattern and you feel stuck. You feel like, okay, because I failed once, I'm a failure in business. I can't try anything else. But how do you avoid this mindset? In the book I read called Mindset, she showed me a different way of thinking, which is called the growth mindset. Now, the growth mindset sees failure as data, sees failure as feedback, sees failure as another way that it didn't work, but it doesn't mean that that's the only way. It means I can try other ways. So once I was done reading the book, my mindset began to shift. I began to see failure differently. I began to see the negative things or the negative challenges or difficult things that I faced in my life as something that comes to grow my maturity level, my capacity, my tenacity, my resilience. Just reading that book alone shifted my mindset. So how do you avoid the fixed mindset, or how do you move from the lack of the right mindset to cultivating the right mindset? It's by cultivating the growth mindset. So keeping an abundance perspective, realizing that there's plenty of room in the marketplace for your gift to thrive. There's plenty of room in the marketplace for that business God has placed in your heart to thrive. Understanding that failure is not the end. Failure is data. Failure is information. Failure is a learning tool that you can use to improve your service or your delivery, improve what you're doing, and go out again and do it again. And you keep learning and improving, learning and improving. That's what failure is. It gives you a new lens to look at failure so that you are no longer scared about failing publicly. Instead, when you fail publicly, you dust yourself up. You ask yourself, what did I learn about this? You improve and you keep moving on. It reminds me of the scripture in Romans 12:2 that says, don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. God has a growth mindset. So he doesn't see failure the way we see failure. He doesn't have a fixed mindset. He sees failure differently. No wonder the scripture says that God causes all things to work together for good. So in God's dictionary, failure does not exist. And you should also cultivate that same mindset. The second reason Christian moms fail in business is because of a lack of the right skill set. That's right. Now, what is skill set, you might ask? Skill set is simply what you can do, your competence. So think of skill set as the knowledge you have acquired through education, through working your job, through practicing your passion. So whatever knowledge you've acquired, your ability, your expertise, the things you know how to do well, this is your skill set. But the trap here is when you're starting a business, let me give you an example. Say you're a HR professional right now, and you want to start your own HR consulting practice where you're helping small business owners with payroll, with hiring, with interviewing, with building a company culture and things like that. You already have the skill set of being a HR professional. And most times when you're going to start your consulting business along the same line, the trap a lot of career Christian moms fall into is they rely on only that skill set, not knowing that they need other things to be able to thrive in business. So they rely only on that industry specific skill set. But when you're going into entrepreneurship, beyond your industry specific skill set, you need the skill set of selling. You need the skill set of building systems. You need the skill set of creating content. You need the skill set of financial management. You need the skill set of leadership because you're going to grow that business to a point where you're leading people. So a lot of Christian career moms start this business and they focus only on their industry specific skill set, neglecting all the other skill sets they need to add to what they already have so that they can thrive in business. If you start the HR consulting business and you have this strong HR background, but you don't have any skill set or marketing skill set, you're going to struggle to get client. So when you start the business and you're not able to attract client, you will conclude that, oh, this business is not for me. I'm going back to my 9 to 5. But no, you're simply lacking the additional skill set that you need to thrive in that consulting business that you have started. So how do you avoid this? How do you avoid this lack of the right skill set? Identify 1 or 2 top skills that you need to add in addition to the industry specific skill set you already have. Like I said, some of the key things are being able to sell. You have to be able to sell, building systems, creating content, managing your finances. These are things that you need to add. So identify these top 1 or 2 skills, then invest in learning. There's so many ways you can learn this new skill sets, and that's the beauty of it. And that's the beauty of having a growth mindset. A growth mindset says that if I don't know how to do it, I can learn how to do it. That is the growth mindset. A growth mindset sees everything as figure outable. I can figure it out. I can learn how to do it. So invest in learning. You can learn through books, through courses, through hiring a coach that is already an expert in that area so that you don't have to struggle. When you hire a coach who has the skill sets you need, it fast tracks your learning process and you can learn that thing faster. If you're unclear about the skill set you need to start your sustainable coaching or consulting business, I invite you to go to fromjobtobusiness.com and book your clarity session so we can flesh out and identify the gap between the industry specific skill sets you have and the skill sets you need to add to thrive in your business. This will help fast track your learning process. This also reminds me of the scripture in Proverbs 22, verse 29 that says, "Do you see any truly competent workers?" That's talking about their skill set. It says they will serve kings rather than working for ordinary people. When you take your industry specific skill set and you add the additional skill sets you need as an entrepreneur, you become a competent business owner, you become a competent entrepreneur, and you attract the right clients and you're able to serve them well. The third reason why Christian career moms fail in business is because of the lack of the right tool set. Now, when I talk about tool set, I'm talking about what you use to serve your clients, the resources you use. So think about the software, the platforms, the resources that support your skills and multiply your impact. So you have the mindset, you have the skill set, and you have the tools that enable and enhance and amplify the skills you already have. Now, the trap a lot of Christian career moms fall in when they start their own business is they try to do everything manually. They don't want to invest into the software, into the platforms that will help systemize what they're doing, that will help streamline and automate a lot of things to save them time. They do everything manually. They get overwhelmed. They ignore tech tools because they're trying to save money and they're trying to be cheap. So you're trying to email clients one by one instead of using an email marketing software to email all your clients at once. You get burnt out, you miss out on opportunities because you do not have the right tools to be able to serve more clients. So you're struggling, you are getting late on your deadlines, and you are not able to serve your clients at your highest level. So how do you avoid this? You invest in tech. You use simple tools to automate and scale your business operations, things like email service providers, scheduling, getting a bookkeeping software, other systems you use. If you're a coach, getting a coaching software that helps you organize all the activities you need to do to coach. If you're consulting, getting a software that helps you manage your invoices, that helps you manage your client work, that puts everything in one place so that you show up as the professional you are with the right tools, amplifying your skill set and your mindset, and you're serving at the highest level. You don't need to chase shiny tools, but you just need to pick the essentials. What are the essential tools I need to set up my business so that it can run seamlessly and serve my customers confidently? Using the right tools makes your work easier. It reminds me of a scripture in Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 10. It says, "Using a dull axe requires great strength. So sharpen the blade." That's the value of wisdom. It helps you succeed. If you're using an axe, like the axe that you use to chop wood, if it's dull, it will take you more energy. You exact more energy to chop the wood. But when you sharpen the blade, you can chop off the wood quickly, especially now that we are in the fall, if you're in the United States, and very soon we'll start turning on our heaters and cranking up our fireplaces and all of that. So what that scripture is simply saying is, if you use the right tools, it makes your work a lot easier and you don't have to exact too much energy. So let's bring it all together. When you lack the right mindset, you lack the right skill set, and you lack the right tool set, you are going to struggle and fail in business. But to avoid it, you need to cultivate a growth mindset, add to your industry specific skill set what you already have, then invest in the right tool set so that you can succeed in business. You can show up as your confident self and you can serve your clients at the highest level. Imagine how these three things overlap. Having a resilient mindset, having the right skills, and having the right tools will help you grow your client base even when there are setbacks. You'll be able to scale beyond the challenges because you have these three things working together. When one of these things is missing, frustration grows. When all of these three things align, growth happens and you're able to thrive even in difficult seasons in business, even in difficult ups and downs like you experience in business. So see these three things as a confident driver, you being a confident driver, having the skill set. Then you have a great car, which is the tool set, and you have the right GPS, which is your mindset, and you're able to go farther and thrive in business because you have these three things working together. All right, so what are you going to do based on what you just heard? You know me. I don't just want you to listen and walk away. I want you to do a quick self-audit. Which of these three things are you lacking right now? It might be your mindset. It might be the skill set. It might be the tool set. It might be all three. If it's all three, don't get flustered. Don't get overwhelmed. Just take one step this week to strengthen one area. The mindset is a very good area to start. Start thinking about the way you think and asking yourself, do I have a fixed mindset? Do I have a growth mindset? You can even start by ordering the book on Amazon, Mindset by Dr. Carol Dweck. I will drop a link to the book in the podcast description. That's a good place to start. Start working on your mindset. You don't need to wait until you launch your business. Just cultivating a growth mindset can help you in your personal life in every area of your life because it helps you see things differently. So take that step, start working on your mindset. Remember that God has already equipped you with all you need for life and business. All you need to do is just tap into it. So get that done this week and you will be on your way to having the 3 pillars you need to have entrepreneurial success. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I pray it made you feel seen, taught you something new, and encouraged you to take action. If so, would you please share this episode with someone in your world who needs help to transition from a corporate job to a thriving business? If today's episode resonated with you and you're ready to move from wondering to doing, I invite you to go to fromjobtobusiness.com to book your transition clarity call today. In just 60 minutes, you will get clarity from where you are now to where God is calling you to be in your business. You will leave with confidence and concrete next steps. Lastly, it will be a huge blessing to me if you could leave a review for this podcast on Apple Podcasts or the podcast app you are using to listen. This is the number one way I know you are getting value from the podcast. Until next time, always remember your expertise is needed, your calling is real, and I'm here to help you make it happen. So keep listening for more episodes. I'll meet you here next week.